Good morning, guys. We're going to start in just a minute. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. However long you can hang. Today's topic is going to be guilt, parent guilt, mom guilt, whatever, what have you. What kind of stops us in our tracks from getting things done. Good morning, Liddell. Good to have you watching. Appreciate it. And as I always say, anybody wants to pipe in, I appreciate any of your comments. Going to start in about 1 more minute. And just about the guilt that sort of stops us in our tracks from doing the things that need to be done. For those who are watching, I appreciate you. And if you have other topics that you want to talk about at times, please bring them up, and we'll do those. We're just about to get started. Here's 9:30. Okay. Today's topic is guilt. Just a reminder that this broadcast has always started out to be more disability awareness for not only our families, but families in the greater community. And I just do this as a way to help people have a little better understanding of who we are and what we're about. Good morning, Devin. Thank you for watching. And so today, what I was thinking about doing was guilt, because I think as parents we've all been there, whether you're a special needs parent or just plain parenting. We want to give our kids our best. Good morning, Karen. We want to give our kids our best, and but sometimes we're just, like I said, we're just human, and we just get worn out. So I'm gonna do a song that I had written quite a while back with Bert and Margaret Summersell, and it's just, I've always wanted my girls to have joy, regardless of, their goals may be different. One has a disability, one does not, but I've wanted their life to be full and have a purpose. And so that's why this was written. And it's just to remember, the joy gives us strength, and to avoid, if we can, some of these things that just waste our time, like guilt and worry. Good morning, Linda. So I'm going to start with this one, and then we'll get back to the topic. We roll along in our little tin cans, lock up in our boxes at night, and the grass keeps growing and the wind keeps blowing through the gain and the loss in our lives. But we all live under the same warm sun, look up at the same blue sky, come in and out of this world through the same hard door, and I want more than just getting by. Well, the preacher and the pauper and the millionaire man all struggle with the worries of life, and their wheels keep turning while the fires keep burning through the riches and the rags and the pride. But we all live under the same warm sun, look up at the same blue sky, come in and out of this world through the same hard door, and I want more than just getting by. Why not give it the best that we can and do more than just survive? 'Cause we all live under the same warm sun, look up at the same blue sky, come in and out of this world through the same hard door, and I want more than just getting by. Don't you want more than just getting by? We need more than just getting by. That's it. Thanks for listening to that. Like I said, that was dedicated to my daughters, because I want them to have a life that's full of joy and purpose. And when guilt gets in the way, that can really just put the stops to it. And as parents, sometimes guilt is just our big thing that slows us down, stops us in our tracks. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I had Morgan and I recently met a young mom who has a 4-year-old on the autism spectrum, just by chance. And when she met Morgan, she was very interested, seeing an adult, and just she confided in me that her daughter had not really spoken yet. She has done some scripting. If you don't know what that is, a lot of times our children who will begin to talk, and they'll use movie scripts or whatever. And Morgan would do that to start out with. She actually used them appropriately. But that's all her little girl has done, and she's not been able to really talk to her or have a conversation, so there's not much meaningful language yet. So she asked me that and wanted to ask 1,000 other questions, and thankfully we were able to get connected, and I hope she'll stay in touch because I do want to encourage her. The one thing that she said that, I could just so relate to, she told me that they had started a therapy, which sounded a bit like ABA. I'm not quite sure what they were doing, but it was a therapy they had begun with her child, and they'd done it for 6 months, but her job requires her to travel, and she had to leave to do her job. And I could just hear her saying, she said, but I've had to stop. I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do because of that. And I could just see the guilt and the pressure that she was feeling, not being able to be there and give her child everything, that they needed, or feel like that she couldn't. And, as parents, we're always having to make those choices of what's going to be the best therapy, what's going to be best for our child, what can we realistically do, what can we afford. And it's just back to being human. We make the choices we make because our family has so many needs, and then when we see other kids progressing, see other families doing well, and maybe we're not in the best spot, we start guilting ourselves, and we get into that ifville is what I call it. Well, if we had done this, if we had done that, maybe we'd be in a better spot now. Wish we had made that decision. And when you do that to yourself, all it does is paralyze you. Because I've been there. Rudy and I, when Morgan was diagnosed at 3.5 with autism, and at that time, ABA, it's applied behavior analysis. At that time, it was called LOVAS, I believe. And we had friends, families that were mortgaging their homes to get that therapy because it was about $60,000 a year. Insurance wasn't covering, and we just, we felt a lot of pressure that, this is this is the therapy, this is the thing that's going to make it all better. And however, it just was unrealistic, to think we could do that. Good morning, Donna. Thank you guys for watching. Good morning, Darlene. And like what I'm saying is, Rudy and I faced that decision of, do we do this? Can we do this? There's just no way. So, as I said, $60,000 for a year of this therapy, and friends mortgaging their homes for this 1 year of treatment for their children. And, and that was, like I said, the thing out there. And we just we prayed on it. We waited heavily, and it was like, I just can't see us doing this because we've got 2 children we have to feed and house and clothe, and we just could not, we just couldn't justify going into that kind of debt for 1 year, because what we were also hearing was if you got into that therapy and were doing well, and then you had to stop it, which you would absolutely have to do, out of bankruptcy, then they would regress. So, it was, like I said, it was just so many years ago. Now we know a lot more than we did. Now there's more services out there. Now insurance is covering some things they didn't used to cover. And, but I do remember, for quite some time thinking, oh gosh, if we had been able to do that, would we have seen a difference? Would Morgan be in a different place? If we had been able to. And the point is, like I said, you can if yourself to death. If it didn't happen, you don't have a do-over back there. You can't redo these things. So it's just really it's a waste of your energy, your time, your joy to go back and, and visit things you can't do over, can't redo. And it's not fair to you or your child. And I do say that we have to go back, again, and remember it's that when you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. All of our children are different. What works for one may not necessarily work for another. They're going to all have, like with any developmental disability, you're going to have times of progress. You're going to have times where you're just stagnant. You're going to have times when you back up and you don't have any idea why or what's going on. And it's not necessarily something you did or didn't do. It just happens, and as a parent, our children need us present. They need us there, being with them. And to me, I think that's what I see as the most important thing. At least, everybody's got their own way of dealing with things and therapies and what have you. And I'm not trying to dismiss anything that helps our children, but I think just being present for them, being with them, loving them, doing what we know to do as a family, spending time with them, just digging back in there, getting as close as you can. So back on the guilt topic, there's been times as I get older that I don't have the energy that I did. There's a lot of times I would love to go do things with Morgan and take her to things, and we do a lot. She really is engaged in a lot, thankfully, because our community has a lot to offer. But there's times when, I just need a break. I need to sit it out and get a little energy myself. So, that said, I don't want to get myself in a place where when I didn't do it, I'm feeling awful that I didn't give Morgan every opportunity, because I think she, does have things she can do all the time. But that doesn't necessarily mean we have to engage in all of it. Now, as usual, I'm doing all the talking, and I really want to hear from some of you. If there's parents here who are watching, and there's things that you felt guilty about that you didn't give your child, didn't do for your child. Maybe you weren't there because you couldn't be. I just want to hear from you, and just also let you know or remind you today that we're all human. We make the decisions we make, hopefully out of love, out of meaning the best for our child, and we don't always get it right, but we can always try again. So I just, like I said, I guess that's what's on my heart today, because I've seen parents too. The Facebook thing, again, I always say I'm very thankful for this avenue to be able to share with each other, to come together and learn about each other. But it also can create, when you start watching what everybody's doing, it looks like a perfect world from the outside, but it's not. We've all got our things. Let me see. Someone here says, Darlene says, special needs or not, I think it's a mom thing that we are born with. True it is. Because we want to give them the best. And for Morgan, what happens, again, not addressing everyone with autism, but in Morgan's case, sometimes getting her up and out and moving is like pulling teeth. And you get so, like I said, you can just get very drained trying to do it. Morgan can be, I say she can be like a little old lady sometimes. I'm trying to get her out of her chair, and she's, oh, my legs hurt. Oh, my feet hurt. Oh, they're tingling. What is the word she uses? Sprinkles. Her feet have sprinkles. What it is, they go to sleep because she's not getting up. And so when you see us going from pillar to post, and just running all the time, a lot of times it's because I'm trying to get her out and engaged, because if we stay here and I allow her to, she lands in her little recliner with her iPad